Hey, it's a Black Clover video. Yo, welcome everyone, Sanjay here, and welcome back to the channel where we continue to tackle my experience catching up with Black Clover. Of course, today's video will be a Black Clover manga video. We are covering the Witch's Forest's arc, specifically, which is about chapters 78 to 101 thereabout, give or take. But anyway, the point is, be sure to subscribe. We're on our way to 1,000 subs. Of course, I would appreciate the support. Leave a like, hit that notification bell, and let me know your thoughts about my thoughts in the comment section below. But without further ado, let's get right into it, or just a bit more ado. Disclaimer, yes, this impressions video is specifically from the perspective of the manga. Let's get that out there. So yeah, but let's get right into it. So coming off the underwater temple arc, the initial section for this arc, about chapters 74 to about 78, where we have the Diamond Kingdom invading. Personally speaking, I actually like this section. It's in line with the whole benefits of how the manga itself is paced. It's in line with that, and as well it takes advantage of previous events in the story with Veto, and the fact that he eliminated a lot of magic knights on the beach right before the underwater temple. So the Diamond Kingdom actually coming in and taking advantage of that, I thought was actually pretty good. And of course, it was one of those moments again for me personally speaking, like reading through, I wasn't expecting like, yo, Diamond Kingdom invading. The pacing is whoa, crazy, but at the same time it made sense narratively speaking based on previously established events, which was pretty good. And at the same time, I liked how this section started, or at least it continued almost where we left off from the last time we saw persons from the Diamond Kingdom, and basically starts to establish the structure of that kingdom. What I mean by this, like, I've always wondered if like the other kingdoms, other countries around, is it that every country has a wizard king or a group of magic knights, or what's the case? What's the deal with that? Is it like a Naruto situation where we have, you know, Kage for each, you know, major village? What's the case? And that initial invasion kind of starts to answer that question for me, as well as kind of I guess establishing a degree of realism in terms of that not every country is gonna have the same military setup, or you know, in terms of how the leadership chain or the leadership hierarchy actually goes. So that was good as well. So it kind of with it, you know, got my appetite running for learning more about the Diamond Kingdom. So I thought it was good, as well just seeing Yuno and just establishing, just, you know, re-emphasizing that rivalry between Asta and Yuno was good as well. It's the whole format of this whole showcase of this rivalry is kind of expected, the way Tabata does it, with, you know, long lens of Asta, then we see Yuno, with the long lens of Asta, then we see Yuno. So yeah, that's to be expected, but it was good. Love seeing them, love seeing just the fighting in general, characters like Finral, Yami, and even Yami confronting Vengeance. All good stuff for the most part. So yeah, but getting into the main thing, the Witch's Forest arc. Personally speaking, I really loved, I liked the arc. It was like 70% good for me, 30% I had some problems here and there. And I don't know if the persons who commented previously in my previous Black Clover videos who said like the next arc is like one of their favorites are speaking about this arc in specifically, or this arc in conjunction with, you know, what comes after it. So yeah, but this arc for me, from the perspective of the manga, it had its problems. It does rely heavily on the presence of the Diamond Kingdom, as we've seen, but I think one of my biggest problems is the introduction of characters like Fonzel, Mariella, and Fonzel's wife, whose name I can't actually remember at the moment. Dominante Neto, I think that's it. I haven't watched the anime portion of this just yet, but I'm just about there, give or take. I've already cleared the initial Diamond Kingdom invasion, so it's bad or not so bad. But the point is, yeah, I just felt it was contrived, or like super convenient, that Noel knew a set of persons that happen to, that we've never heard of before, we've never seen them interact with before, and they just happen to have a, within that group of characters, we have a character that has a connection to the Witch's Forest, which is the location that we're going to need to go to actually fix Asta's arms. It just felt really convenient, and the characters for me almost bordered on, I would say, you could almost replace them with any other character this early on at that point in the manga. Of course, they kind of prove that, I kind of see that there are some elements in the arc where that's not true, that you couldn't necessarily replace them with anybody else, but it just felt really convenient to me. I know I've been made aware that from the perspective of the anime, this problem has been more or less fixed, like rectified, because this is honestly one of those rare instances where I feel like the pacing of the manga kind of works against it, and I've heard that they've rectified it with the anime pacing by introducing Fonzel like beforehand, or at least showcasing that whole flashback. So there's that. One of the themes, or the themes that I got from the arc are definitely the defying fate, are making your own destiny, not let your destiny or your path be defined by others. Essentially it still has that whole never giving up aspect of it as well, and all of this is really focused or highlighted through the characters of Vanessa and, well, Asta as well, but mainly Vanessa as well, because for the most part the Black Bulls, they've set out to actually find a way to heal Asta's arms, so paying back for being such a source of inspiration for them, because honestly Asta has really inspired them to tackle their psychological or mental, well, not to say that they're crazy, well, I guess that's debatable too, basically tackle the issues in their life from a new perspective, or just be, tackle their insecurities. So I think them actually going the extra mile to help out Asta I like that. So this arc focuses more so on Vanessa, who has, from the manga's perspective, they've hinted at her background here and there, but this arc finally gets to explore it, and that's another positive of the arc as well. Black Clover continues to allow the main cast of characters to get a equal share of spotlight, I feel, and it just feels like no character is really left behind, and the story doesn't revolve. Asta is the main character, but the story doesn't necessarily have to revolve around him. I always like seeing stuff like that. So we have Vanessa at the center of this, who's decided to go back to the Witch's Forest to actually confront her mother, quote unquote, to actually help heal Asta's arm from the ancient, the ancient magic that ancient beast magic that Veto was using. Of course, Fonzel and company help Asta and company invade the Witch's Kingdom and confront the witch. Now, it's at this point that we have the Diamond Kingdom and the Eye of the Midnight Sun, who've apparently teamed up, come in, and all shit hits the fan. Now, we're reintroduced to Mars as and Radus, it's because of the scantillations, probably I'm pronouncing his name wrong as well. We're introduced to a number of characters from the Diamond Kingdom, and honestly, the whole theme of love and overcoming hatred, and just even exploring the Diamond Kingdom and I guess their culture through just seeing these members of the Diamond Kingdom is really on show for this arc, and I actually liked it. Now, the fight against Fauna, like Black Clover, honestly, I'm really loving I wouldn't say it's overused, but the heavy emphasis on team battles, because the thing is, one thing that I feel like a lot of series have to combat are they almost border on the line of touching into a lot of times is ass pulls, where a character who has no business beating another character actually manages to do just that. And honestly, given what we know about the characters so far in terms of their moveset, Asta, Finral, Vanessa, and Noelle, even though Fauna before alongside with Veto is established to be on the level of Yami, if not above, given what we know about them actually managing to beat Fauna, it made sense. I liked it, and honestly, individually, none of the characters there had any business beating her, but just because of their movesets and the tools at hand, them teaming up, beating her made sense, and I actually like seeing that. So yeah, I love the continued use of teamwork. There's hardly, honestly, when I think about it, there's hardly been any, well, there have been one-on-one matches, but like there's almost been like there's almost the same amount of team battles as well when you really think about it, which is highly refreshing to see as well. I actually like that. So there's that. Funny enough, Fauna and a friend of mine highlighted this to me, that, well, he was kind of hinting at it to me when Fauna was just introduced, that she was the character Mars was speaking to in his flashback, but since I was reading the manga I didn't really realize, and it was only after the arc was finished with I actually went back and like checked it out from like chapter 20 after the first dungeon, so that was cool as well. But Mars coming in and actually joining the good side, which, you know, I thought was kind of sudden as well, like a sudden change, but even going back to the end of the first dungeon, I realized that's the case. And what I like about this arc, it's almost like a big setup arc as well, because Tabata juggles the immediate and the later, with the immediate being the whole conflict against the Eye of the Midnight Sun, and the lore that we learned from the Witch Queen herself regarding the race of elves, Asta's swords, and, you know, the magic. Well, we didn't learn much about magics. Well, we learned some extra tidbits there, but he juggles that, and just seeing the culture and the things that the Diamond Kingdom does, it kind of leaves things open to say, yo, we have this to look forward to after all this is done, especially since Mars is going to be working on, you know, rectifying or helping out the Diamond Kingdom become a nation that, you know, him and Fauna can enjoy. So that was good as well. I like that tidbit. Now, Asta. Asta's demon. I have my notes here, so just in case you're wondering. So in terms of like Asta now, in terms of his demon form, the whole cliche of like transformations in shonen series, I was waiting on this. I liked it. I think it was kind of overdue for Asta to get a next dimension of how he could approach combat, as well as up the stakes for him as well, which should help us get more emotionally invested, I guess. But Asta's demon form, well, I'll call it that for now until the official name. So that was cool as well. I liked it. And this art just makes me wonder, like, I'm just more interested in the history of the world, because if the Witch Queen herself has been living for like hundreds of years, that's the next thing too. I'm really interested in all of this. Now, some highlights for the arc for me as well was, let's see here. I actually liked when Asta stood up to Fauna and just asked her, like, yeah, why do you hate the Clover Kingdom so much? It kind of reinforces Asta's character as one that's because the thing is, Asta's character has always been portrayed as, well, you know, how should I put it? The cliche shonen stupid but emotionally intelligent character, and at the same time he has some nuance in terms of how he approaches villains or the antagonists of the series, where his big thing is accountability and responsibility, honestly. So him asking Fauna, yo, like, why do you hate us so much, why are we fighting, I think it really falls in line with what his character represents, the nuance in his character for like a shonen protagonist, if I'm being honest. And this is on display again, where we have Redis or Rodis, or is it Ladros? Yeah, I think that should be it. Yo, just try to crucify me. Even when he was doing the whole cliche, yo, please forgive me, I was wondering how Asta was going to react with that. And of course, he again reinforces the notion that he wants him to be accountable and help out and, you know, do what he has to do to not necessarily repent, but, you know, do his time, do his jail time if necessary. So I thought little things like that were a nice touch. It's just overall, it's just the nuance of it, those subtle differences, those subtle shades of expression for a shonen protagonist. Now, Vanessa, I like that she upgraded as well, because her character is long overdue to get the spotlight within the Black Bulls as well. And just getting her backstory and how it falls in line with the theme of, you know, just deciding your fate, don't let anybody else decide it for you. Like, I thought it was just overall beautiful. Now, going back to my problems with the arc, I felt like the negative feelings I had about the introduction of Fonzel, to me, I feel like it kind of affected the payoff with seeing Mars finally reunite with Fauna. Because as Fonzel, as a teacher of these Diamond Kingdom individuals, I feel like I was supposed to have a connection with him, and the dynamic he would have had with Mars and the others. I just felt like it just trickled down and affected the payoff, but that's just me. But I'm looking forward to seeing the arc actually being the piercing issues I had with the arc in terms of that specific aspect being fixed with the anime. But anyway, I think I've rambled on enough. I don't want to make this as long as the last Black Clover video, so yeah. But anyway, let me know what you thought about my thoughts about the arc in general. I thought it was a pretty decent arc. It really set the stage for, you know, us being interested in the Diamond Kingdom, while, you know, reinforcing and highlighting some of our favorite characters while introducing new lore and getting us even more pumped up for the coming confrontations with the Eye of the Midnight Sun, and how the history of the Clover Kingdom is essentially coming back to bite it. Or even not even just the history, but the history and its current culture. So yeah. But anyway, Sanjay Uchiha here, guys. Be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next Black Clover video.